Have you ever stopped, not with your body but with your entire being, in the midst of the deafening silence of an ordinary, unremarkable day? Perhaps while sitting in a stream of faceless cars as the traffic lights and headlights merge into a single blurred, hypnotic stain. Or gazing out a window at the monotonous, silent dance of raindrops, each one carrying the reflection of an entire world. Or simply stirring sugar in a cup of hot tea with a silver spoon, watching the birth and death of a tiny, ephemeral vortex. And suddenly, for one infinite, dizzying, almost nauseating moment, felt a strange, incomparable feeling of detachment, as if an invisible, gossamer thin veil falls from your eyes and you see everything happening. The solid walls of your room, the passers-by on the street hurrying about their business, even your own hands resting on your knees, as an exquisitely crafted, hyper-realistic stage set. Like a dream that seems absolutely unshakable, dense and real while you are within its plot, but whose illusory nature, whose ghostly essence becomes crystal clear, painfully obvious, in that sacred instant when you pry your eyes open on the verge of waking. We as a civilization are accustomed to brushing aside these precious, priceless moments. We write them off as fatigue, as stress, as quirks of our overloaded brains. But the ancient sages of all traditions, the Gnostics who sought true knowledge, gnosis, not in external books but in the depths of their own consciousness. The alchemists who, in the silence of their darkened laboratories, sought not the gold of base metals but the incorruptible gold of the awakened spirit. They considered these moments the greatest of gifts. This is not a glitch in your system. This is not a sign of madness. It is a glimpse of your true, primordial, divine nature. It is your soul, your eternal, unborn, and undying consciousness, remembering for one blessed second what it has always known. That the world you perceive with your 5 limited senses is not the final, objective reality carved in stone. It is merely one of countless melodies playing in the grand, infinite symphony of existence. And the most profound, most guarded secret hidden for centuries behind a veil of symbols and allegories, whispered from teacher to student in the mystery schools, is this: that you listening to this voice right now, are not just a passive listener to this cosmic symphony. You are its composer, and you have come into this incarnation, into this body, into this time, to perform your own unique, unrepeatable part. To grasp this staggering truth, we must make an inner effort, an act of will, and cast aside the conventional notions of time and space that have been drilled into us since early childhood. Forget for a moment the linear arrow of time, the past that has irrevocably sunk into oblivion, and the future that is still misty and yet to come. Imagine reality not as a collection of separate, solid objects scattered in empty space, but as an infinite, vibrating, living, intelligent ocean of consciousness. The ancient rishis in the Vedic texts of India called it Akasha, the primordial substance, the subtle ether from which all visible and invisible worlds are woven. Modern quantum physics, in its own timid, materialistic way, approaches this same concept, speaking of a unified quantum field, a zero-point field, a field of pure, unmanifested potentiality, where all possible versions of reality, all conceivable and inconceivable events, from your next breath to the demise of distant galaxies, exist simultaneously as waves of probability, as pure potential. Every event, from the Big Bang to the silent fall of an autumn leaf onto the surface of water, creates a unique, unrepeatable vibrational ripple in this ocean, a ripple that never vanishes. And here is the most important part. Every thought that is born in the silent depths of your mind, every fleeting emotion that sweeps through your body from chilling fear to all-consuming love, is not just a biochemical process locked within the confines of your skull. It is a powerful energetic impulse. It is a wave that you send out into this universal ocean every second. It is your vibrational signature, your unique frequency. It is what you truly are in the eyes of the universe. The vast majority of people on this planet live their lives in a state that can be called a deep vibrational hypnosis. This is the great forgetting. From the very moment of our birth, we begin to be trained to perceive only a tiny, extremely limited slice of reality, the one accessible to our 5 imperfect senses. We are immersed in a collective dream. We are taught that the world is solid, material, and exists separately and independently of us, that we are small, mortal, biological creatures thrown into a cold, indifferent, mechanistic universe. We are programmed, much like a computer is programmed. An operating system of collective beliefs, fears, expectations of society, parents, culture, and religion is installed in us. This mass of programs, this mental virus passed down from generation to generation, creates a dense, impenetrable veil, a filter of perception through which we view the world. And this filter, this program, causes us to vibrate at a specific, very narrow and low frequency. The frequency of survival, the frequency of lack, the frequency of struggle, competition, and a deep existential fear. And according to the greatest and most immutable law of the universe, the law of resonance, which states that like attracts like. Vibrating at this frequency, we, like a radio receiver, can only tune into and receive into our lives those events, people, and circumstances that are in harmony with, that resonate with, this frequency. Thus a closed loop is created, a self-sustaining feedback loop that is so difficult to break. We believe the world is a dangerous place full of struggle. We radiate the vibration of struggle and fear, and the world, like a giant impartial mirror, dutifully reflects our beliefs back to us, providing ever new reasons for battle and anxiety. We are convinced in our very depths that we are unworthy of true, unconditional love or genuine flowing abundance. We radiate a subtle but constant vibration of lack and unworthiness. And life, like this great mirror, proves us right time and time again, creating situations where we are rejected and where we are eternally lacking something. This is the matrix, the illusion, the prison spoken of by mystics of all ages. A prison with no walls, no bars, no guards, except for the walls of our own limited program perception. But within each of us, in the deepest, most hidden corner of this dungeon, lives a prisoner who remembers freedom. This is your higher self, your soul, that immortal spark of the divine fire that was never born and will never die. And it is constantly, with every beat of your heart, sending you signals. It is trying to break through the deafening noise of the programmed mind. These signals, these messages from your true eternal home, come in the form of an inexplicable, profound, sweet longing. In the form of a sharp, piercing feeling that you are not living your own life, that you are playing someone else's role, an imposed role in someone else's play. They come in the form of sudden insights, moments of crystal ringing clarity when suddenly everything falls into place. They come in the form of déjà vu, when you suddenly realize with absolute certainty that you have been here before, have lived this very moment before. They come in the form of synchronicity, when the world suddenly ceases to be chaotic and begins to speak to you in the language of secret signs. When chance encounters, phrases suddenly heard on the radio, numbers constantly repeating on the clock, all form a meaningful divine pattern that guides and encourages you. Awakening is nothing less than the beginning of a conscious-willed process of raising your personal vibrational frequency. It is the alchemical process of transmuting the heavy, inert gray lead of unconscious existence into the shining, radiant, warm gold of awakened consciousness. This is the great work, the Magnum Opus, and its one and only sacred laboratory is you, your body, your mind, your heart, your entire life. The first and perhaps the most brutal and frightening stage of this sacred process in alchemy is called Calcinatio, the burning to whiteness. This is the fire of trials. It is that inevitable, pivotal moment in the life of every seeker on the path when everything you considered unshakable, everything upon which you built your fragile personality collapses and turns to dust. The loss of a beloved job that seemed to you your calling and the meaning of your life. A painful, soul-tearing breakup of a relationship you thought was eternal. A financial crash that turns your illusory sense of security into ashes. A profound crisis of faith that burns away all your old cozy beliefs and leaves you naked before the face of infinity. Everything you identified with, your social mask, your achievements, your roles as a son or daughter, husband or wife, professional citizen, all of it is mercilessly thrown into the alchemical crucible and consumed in a dazzling, purifying flame. This is the work of the stern, but infinitely just cosmic teacher, the archetype of Saturn, the guardian of the threshold. The universe deliberately creates unbearable, crushing pressure to burn away everything false, everything superficial, all the husks that prevent your true seed from sprouting. Most people at this moment fall into despair, into a deep sense of victimhood. They try to flee from the fire, to salvage the smoking ruins of their old life. They blame fate, God, other people, the government. But the adept, one who has consciously stepped onto the path of transformation, does otherwise. He turns around and walks directly into the roaring center of the flame. He welcomes it as a long-awaited liberator. He allows the fire to do its work because he knows this is not destruction. This is a great purification. It is the burning of the illusory false personality, the ego, to make space for the true divine essence. You are not your job. You are not your relationships. You are not your money or your status. You are not even your body or your thoughts. You are pure, eternal, silent consciousness, temporarily having this amazing human experience. And until you release these false identifications, you will remain chained to them by the chains of suffering. The fire of Calcinatio is the greatest gift, because it turns the thick walls of your personal prison into a handful of warm ash, from which one day in its own time, the fiery phoenix of your true divine self can be reborn. When only this sacred ash remains of the ego, the second mysterious stage begins, Solutio, the dissolving. This ash is cast into the bottomless, dark, primordial waters of the subconscious. This is the plunge into the deepest, most hidden, and most frightening corners of your own psyche. Everything that you have suppressed for years, for decades, perhaps for lifetimes, everything you have fled from, everything you have hidden even from yourself under the mask of civility. All of it surges to the surface in a powerful, unstoppable torrent. Forgotten childhood traumas, unshed tears, anger frozen in the body, shameful taboo desires, irrational primal fears. This is the work of the moon, the mistress of the tides of our inner world, the keeper of secrets and dreams. You find yourself in a cold, dark, silent ocean of your own shadow. The greatest temptation here is to become frightened and start to fight, to try to swim to the saving surface of the rational mind, to start analyzing, to judge yourself for this darkness, to try to suppress it again, to force it back into the cellar. But the path of the alchemist is the path of total courageous surrender. You must allow these waters to engulf you. You must stop flailing and allow yourself to drown in your own depths. You must come face to face with every one of your inner demons, not to fight and defeat them, but to look them in the eye without fear or judgment, to learn their story and to embrace them like a lost child. Your shadow is not evil. It is simply the rejected, unacknowledged, unloved part of you, a part that holds immense, frozen, unclaimed power. Your fear holds your greatest courage. Your pain holds your boundless compassion. Your anger holds your ability to set healthy boundaries and to say a firm no. By integrating your shadow, by accepting it as an integral, sacred part of yourself, you become whole. You reclaim your power from the past. You heal your wounds at the deepest vibrational level, changing their energetic charge from negative to positive. It is a profound, often excruciating purification. But without it, it is impossible to build a solid, unbreakable diamond foundation for a new, awakened consciousness. And so, purified by fire and water, having passed through death and rebirth, you ascend to a new, more subtle stage. Separatio, the separation. You have learned from your own experience to distinguish the false, loud voice of the ego from the quiet, wise, loving whisper of the soul. Now you must apply this newly acquired skill, this subtle discernment, to the world around you. This is the work of Mercury, the messenger of the gods, a symbol of a razor-sharp intellect and divine discrimination. You begin to conduct a total energetic audit of your life. With surgical precision, you consciously filter the information you allow into your consciousness. You stop unconsciously consuming the toxic stream of negativity from the news, others' opinions, empty entertainment, social trends that lead you away from yourself. You ask yourself honest, ruthless questions. This thought that is currently spinning in my head, is it truly mine? Or was it imposed on me from the outside? This belief that I so fiercely defend, does it serve my highest good and expansion? Or does it keep me in a cozy but cramped cage? These people in my immediate circle, do they fill me with energy and inspire me to fly? Or do they, like weights, pull me down into the swamp of their own fears and doubts? You begin to consciously choose what you feed your mind, your heart, and even your physical body. You cut away everything toxic, everything that does not resonate, that does not sing in unison with your new, higher, and purer frequency. It is like the work of a great sculptor who takes a formless block of marble and ruthlessly but lovingly chips away everything superfluous, everything that is not the future masterpiece, to reveal to the world that perfect divine form that was always hidden within the stone. After you have separated the pure from the impure, the valuable from the superficial, the gold from the dross, the great mystical central stage of the alchemical work arrives, Coniunctio, the sacred union. This is the alchemical wedding that takes place in the silence and depth of your own being. The union of the king and queen, the sun and the moon, the masculine and feminine principles within you. The king is your awakened, divine masculine principle. Logic as clear as crystal, will as focused as a laser, divine structure, discipline, the ability to act actively and effectively in the material world. The queen is your awakened, divine feminine principle. Deep, all-knowing intuition, boundless, spontaneous creativity, total acceptance, unconditional love, compassion, the ability to simply be in the flow of life without resisting it. In the ordinary sleeping person, these two great principles are in a state of eternal, exhausting civil war. The mind argues with the heart. Actions are not backed by intuition and therefore lead to dead ends. Dreams and desires lack the structure and will for their manifestation and remain barren, fading fantasies. But after the great purification, you can unite them in a harmonious, sacred, unbreakable union. This is the work of Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, and higher harmony. Your sharp, focused mind, the king, kneels and learns to trust and serve the boundless, illogical wisdom of your heart, the queen. Your intuition receives a clear, solid, grounded structure for its manifestation in the material world. You cease to be a fragmented, contradictory being at war with yourself. You become whole, unified. And in this sacred inner union, in this mystical marriage, the philosopher's child is born, a new, unified, androgynous consciousness that sees the world not dually, not through the distorting lens of good-bad, right-wrong, but as a single, interconnected, breathing whole. A consciousness that regains the lost divine ability, the ability to consciously, with love and wisdom, create its own reality. And here at this summit we come to the most important part. The sacred technology of creation. You have cleansed your sacred vessel. You have balanced your inner energies, and you have tuned your receiver to higher, purer, divine frequencies. Now you are ready not just to passively react to the reality offered to you from the outside, but to consciously, actively create your own. This is not a fairy tale, not a metaphor, and not positive thinking. It is a precise, immutable, scientific law of the universe based on vibration and resonance. Your future is not predetermined. There exists an infinite quantum field of all probabilities, and you, as pure consciousness, as a divine observer, with your focused energy of thought and feeling, select one of these infinite probabilities and, as if developing an invisible photographic film with your attention, make it your dense, physical reality. The process of this divine creation can be described by 3 golden keys that open any door. The first key is crystal clarity of vision, or the creation of what can be called a quantum blueprint. You must create in your inner space, in your imagination, which is nothing other than the screen of creation, the most detailed, vibrant, living, multidimensional image of your desired reality. Not just an abstract, flat, I want to be healthy, but to feel with your entire being how warm, golden, life-giving energy runs through your cells, to feel incredible lightness and flexibility in every joint, to see in your inner mirror yourself, radiant, full of strength, joy, and limitless life energy. Not just a flat, childish, I want to be rich, but to feel the smooth texture and unique smell of new banknotes in your hands. To feel the cool, smooth leather of the steering wheel of your new, perfect car. To hear the soothing sound of the ocean from the terrace of your dream home. To feel at a cellular level the deep, calm, unshakable sense of freedom, security, and flowing abundance. You must use all your inner senses, sight, sound, touch, smell, taste, to make this image absolutely real, indistinguishable from reality for your subconscious mind. Because your subconscious mind, that faithful but blind servant, does not distinguish between a vividly and emotionally imagined experience and a real physical experience. By living your desire in your inner world again and again with pleasure and faith, you create a new stable neural pathway in your brain. You create a new, powerful, magnetic vibrational template. You are, in essence, setting your internal GPS to a new, delightful destination in the field of all possibilities. The second key, and it is the heart, the engine of the entire process, is emotional resonance, or charging your quantum blueprint with life energy. A thought is an electrical charge in the quantum field, but an emotion, a feeling, is a magnetic charge. Together they create a most powerful electromagnetic field, your personal vibrational signature which you broadcast into the universe every second, consciously or not. You can spend hours meditating and thinking about wealth, but if inside, at the level of uncontrollable feelings, you feel the sticky fear of lack and deep anxiety, then it is the vibration of fear that will be your true dominant signal that the universe will hear. The universe does not respond to your words or superficial thoughts. It responds to the silent, universal language of your feelings. And the highest, purest, and most creative frequency at which you can vibrate is the frequency of unconditional love and sincere, heartfelt gratitude. When you are able to feel a deep, all-consuming to the point of tears gratitude for the fact that your desire has already been fulfilled, even before you have seen the slightest physical confirmation of it, a true alchemical miracle occurs. You completely, instantly change your energy. You make a quantum leap from the frequency of asking, needing, and lacking to the frequency of receiving and having. With your feeling, your state of being, you say to the unified field, "Universe, thank you. I am ready. I am already the person who has this. And the universe, obeying the immutable law of resonance, cannot fail to respond to this pure, powerful, coherent signal. It begins, like an invisible, brilliant organizer, to rearrange the fabric of reality around you, to bring you together with the right people, to present unexpected opportunities, to open doors where there were once solid walls, so that the external physical reality can as quickly as possible match, synchronize with, your new internal vibrational reality. And the third key, the most subtle, the most elusive, and often the most difficult for our Western mind, accustomed to controlling everything, is the art of sacred release and divine trust. Having created a crystal-clear image and filled it to the brim with the omnipotent emotion of gratitude, you must let it go. Completely and without reservation, trust in the infinite, incomprehensible wisdom of the universe. Imagine that you have planted a precious seed in fertile soil. You know that you have planted the seed of a mighty oak, and you expect to see an oak. You don't dig up the earth every day to anxiously check if the roots are growing, do you? You don't shout at the seed to make it grow faster. You simply water it, give it sunlight, and completely trust the wise, unhurried process of nature. In the same way, if, after creating your intention, you constantly think about it, worry about how and when it will manifest, desperately look for confirmations and signs, you create a vibration of resistance, doubt, and total control. You are, in essence, constantly digging up the seed with your distrust and not allowing it to sprout. With your control, you are saying to the universe, I don't trust you. I think I, my little ego, know better how this should happen. To let go means to entrust the how into the hands of a higher intelligence that sees the entire picture and knows the shortest, easiest, most joyful, and most harmonious path to your goal. A path that your limited three-dimensional mind cannot even imagine. Your task is to firmly but lightly hold in focus the what you want to create, and most importantly, to maintain the vibrational state of who, that is, to be and feel like the person who already possesses what you desire. And the how and when, that is not your concern. That is the work and the privilege of the universe. This is the path of the master, the path of the awakened conscious creator. It is the great fundamental shift from a state where the world happens to you, to a state where the world happens through you and for you. You become a living, breathing philosopher's stone, which by its own inner state, by its high, pure vibration, transmutes the gray, heavy lead of problematic circumstances into the pure, shining gold of opportunities, lessons, and blessings. You stop fighting with the world because you learn from your own deep experience that the world is your flawless, loving mirror. Do you want to change the reflection? It is pointless and foolish to strike the glass. You simply need to change the expression on your face. You simply need to smile. Do you want to change your life? Stop trying in vain to change external circumstances, people, the world. Start changing the only thing that is within your power, your inner deep-seated vibrations. This is not a promise of an easy, cloudless life without problems. Problems and challenges are an integral, sacred part of this earthly game. They are the divine training grounds for your spirit. They are the pressure that turns simple coal into a shining, multifaceted diamond. But the fundamental difference is that you cease to be their helpless victim. You see in them disguised gifts. You see in them lessons that your soul itself chose to go through for its growth and expansion. You see in them valuable fuel for your inner alchemical furnace. You learn to dance with life, with all its storms and calms, with all its ups and downs, instead of fighting against it. So the next time you catch yourself in that strange, fleeting, sacred feeling of the illusoriness of what is happening, do not brush it aside. Do not be afraid. Stop. Linger in it. Breathe. Peek behind the thin veil of this world. and ask yourself the most important, the most crucial question a human being can ever ask. If all of this is just a vibrational, plastic, mutable dream that my eternal consciousness is dreaming, then what dream do I truly wish to dream? What divine melody do I wish to play in this great infinite symphony? What magnificent painting do I wish to create on the endless canvas of being? Because the canvas is before you. All the colors and all the tools are in your hands within you, and the entire universe is holding its breath, awaiting your next brushstroke, your next creation, your next step. The great work is not ahead of you, not in the past or the future. It is happening right now, in this very breath, in this heartbeat, and its greatest masterpiece is you, awakened, whole, free, creating.